10 more tips for women who are in peri and post-menopause. These 10 tips are 10 lifestyle changes or 10 lifestyle additions that can help you manage those changes in your body and live a healthier, happier life. Number 1, prioritize strength training over cardiovascular training. We are often told go out and run, go out and do bicycling, do CrossFit, do all of these other types of special named exercise programs, and many of them are about doing a lot of cardio. Cardio is going to burn calories, but it's going to also wear down your body. And as a woman enters perimenopause and then menopause, strength training becomes important. Strength training is about creating muscle development. Muscle development produces the goods and services that your body needs to feel healthy and to feel alive. Strength training is actually lifting weights, but you're not lifting extraordinarily heavy, but you're prioritizing lifting something all of the time to build your muscles over your cardiovascular. Now, there are certain times when the cardiovascular is important. I'm an avid believer in also walking and doing step counts and whatnot, but strength training is what will keep you healthier and happier and help you stay stronger for a longer period of your life. Number 2, avoid strict vegan diets and ensure protein intake. If you're on a vegan diet, make sure you do have protein intake. But when you're not on a vegan diet, you have to have protein to build muscles. Your muscles are going to want to atrophy. As your estrogen is dropping, your progesterone goes to 0, your body starts to die. That's what's happening. We're getting old and we're going to die. Protein gives your energy, gives your muscles the energy to produce what it needs to keep your body actually creating something new. We don't want to just atrophy, which is basically just die, and we don't want to just give up. So we need to increase our protein, do the strength training, which utilizes the protein in our muscles through ATP production, which is just basically, again, your muscles are small factories. Inside of them are mitochondria, which are the factories. They need energy, they need protein to produce goods and services for your brain health, your heart health, your gut health, every part of your body. Number 3, do not follow low-carb diets or no-fat diets. Everyone needs to have carbs for energy. We just don't need to eat processed carbs. We don't need to eat every single thing that comes in a package. We can eat carbohydrates and we can eat them in moderation. If you want to do macro counts or you want to look at how much of your carb intake or what kind of carbs, we can do all of that here at Magnolia. But we want to make sure that we're eating carbs for energy and we're eating healthy fats because your hormones dissolve in fats. Without fats, your hormones have nowhere to go, and any production of them eventually just stops because your body's not utilizing them properly. Number 4, don't overextend fasting. I did a pretty extensive series on fasting, out to 40-day fasting. You want to do moderate fasting, especially in menopause, where it is cycling yourself into that fat burner and that sugar burner state, and you want to make sure that when you do extend it, you don't do them regularly. In other words, 3 days of water fasting each and every day is not going to be healthy for you because it's going to be taking too much of the resources from your body. But intermittent fasting and manipulating those fasts to say an 18-6 on one week and a 16-8 on the next is not unhealthy, but extended, long, severe fasts can be. Also, when you skip breakfast, you don't get your body going. So if you can eat a protein, decent, healthy fat breakfast, that gets your body started. And then if you want to do intermittent fasting, maybe you only eat till noon and then you fast until the next morning. But when you get your body going in the morning with protein, your body has more energy and sustains itself throughout the day. Number 5, avoid excessive alcohol consumption. If you are in menopause, I would recommend no alcohol at all. It has almost no benefits whatsoever for you. It disrupts your body systems and actually just depletes you. So the less amount of alcohol, the older you get, is definitely encouraged by Magnolia Health. Number 6, commit to daily physical activity. This is where the step count comes in. Like if you want to do 10,000 steps a day or 6,000 steps a day, or if you don't do anything now, maybe you want to start with 2,000. We highly recommend that you get some daily activity, some movement. The kinetic energy of your muscles moving is what produces energy. It's what makes them operate. In other words, there's no electric switch for them. You don't just hit a switch and the factory turns on, your muscles turn on. You move them and they turn on. So walking is extremely important. Now some people don't like treadmills, they're big, they buy a significant amount of money they cost, I often recommend getting yourself a walking treadmill, which is maybe $100 or $200 on Amazon, and all it's for is walking. And you just get your step count in that way, especially during bad weather seasons. So you definitely need to have movement of some kind to, again, this is about a repetitive theme of getting your muscles moving in some way that isn't going to kill you, isn't going to wear you out, or you just don't want to do. We need to see movement. Number 7, limiting solely low impact workouts. In other words, if you're just doing walking, then you're going to probably lose weight, but you're also going to lose muscle. And if you lose muscle, you're losing something that's valuable to creating that energy and creating that cellular growth that we still need, especially need as women get older. When you look at Ozempic, when you look at those GLP-1 inhibitors, as they're called, which have taken all the craze, women lose a significant amount of weight, men as well, but they lose a lot of muscle. And so they're left with basically being skinny fat. And skinny fat is not healthy. If you want to be lean, that's okay, but you're lean and you have muscles, and that's not a bad thing. And when you're in peri and menopause, women will often say, I don't want to get bigger. Really, honestly, it's almost very few people ever get bigger. Only 25% of women are genetically predisposed to actually getting bigger muscular. And so when you go into menopause, it's even lower than that. So basically we're just trying to maintain what we have and maybe develop some and become leaner and have more muscle, dense muscle growth. But you're probably not going to get bigger if you think you are. And you also, if you're only doing low impact and you're only walking or you're only doing some light cardio, you're not building muscle. So we need to have, going back to number 1, that strength training. But we also need to have that low impact movement for overall cardiovascular health. Number 8, don't eat close to bedtime. Don't drink close to bedtime. No caffeine. You know, when you drink or you eat and say 2 hours even, if you go to bed at 10 and you eat at 8, or you eat at 6 and go to bed at 9, if your body gets energy from those things, especially if it's a high glycemic food, which means it breaks down really quickly and turns to basically immediate energy, it's going to keep you awake. And even if you fall asleep, your body is not into restful sleep. So find a solution to eating during the day and maybe fasting in the evening and the night so that you're getting better, more restful sleep. Number 9, stay hydrated with water and electrolytes. You hear me talk about this a lot. There are many different brands of electrolytes that are very good for you. Basically, you want to purify your water, but in the case of purifying your water, even a well water, you're taking out the minerals and the electrolytes that you need, most likely sodium and potassium for sure, and then you need to replace those. When you add a salt, like a Baja Gold salt, or a Redmond salt, or you buy an electrolyte product, you're adding back in minerals that aren't just the sodium and potassium. Good quality Celtic and Himalayan salts and Black Sea salts, those have the minerals in the salt, and those are absorbed into our body and give us stronger health overall. Number 10, refrain from caffeine after midday. Caffeine is what we use to basically energize ourselves. It's our drug of choice, and if you do it at 2 p.m., you're probably going to sleep, but you're probably not going to sleep as well. Some people can drink right before they go to bed and they sleep through the night, but then when you look at their sleep cycles, they're not sleeping as soundly and as restful as they could be. So you need to make sure you're looking at your caffeine intake, and if you start drinking at 6 o'clock for dinner, you may not sleep as well even at 10 o'clock. So you may need to go back to 4 o'clock and then 2 o'clock. Caffeine in and of itself, even healthy coffee that isn't full of fungus, can be a positive for your health. But we have to be careful that the caffeine is not keeping us from the restful sleep.